Hey, this is Josh. Today I'm going to go ahead and do a review and unboxing of the PowerPak Xtreme by Trent. The contents include one PowerPak Xtreme, a micro USB charging cable, and some user instructions. Alright, so here it is. You can see here it's mostly black, flat black all the way around, and it's got a dark gray over the front. It's got a bunch of little dimples in there for texture. This black material, I thought it might originally be just a kind of like a neoprene rubberish type of material, but it's not. It's a kind of a harder type of a plastic, but it does have some give to it. I can dig my fingernail into it. So that's what's going to be providing the shock resistance, I'm guessing, when you drop it, and it is fairly a thick casing clear around. You can see their logo right there in the side. It's also got at the top a little place that you could tie a string to, or a carabiner or something like that that you could clip it to your gear, or you could just throw it in whatever you're transporting it. On the end, opposite end here, you'll see that it's clearly labeled for both your USB ports. You got a 5 volt 1 amp, 5 volt 2.1 amp, and an input. On the side here you can see that there's two latches that you can simply open up. I'm going to undo one and then the other, and then it easily opens. You'll see here there's a black rubberized material. That's what's going to close into these ports here. That's going to completely make it dust proof and waterproof. It's got a solid feel and a weight to it. Weighed in at just over 11 ounces. Give you a size comparison. I've got an iPhone 5C right here. You can see that it's not much wider than the iPhone itself, and it is a little bit shorter. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I have a USB power meter that reads in both amps and volts. I'm going to test the output of this power meter. I'm going to plug it into the 1 amp slot. I'm then going to plug in my lightning cable to the USB power meter and the other end into this iPhone 5C. Now, to begin the charging process, there's a power button over here on the side. I'm simply going to press that, and as you heard, it turned on. You can see here that I'm getting a reading of about 4.8 volts, and we're looking for somewhere close to 5, so that's fine. I'm now going to switch it to amps, maybe. There we go. And for amps, you can see here I'm getting about a 0.9 milliamp, so close to 1 amp for the output, and that's just what we're looking for my iPhone. Now, I can also add a second device here. I've got this Kindle. I'm going to plug it into the 2.1 amp port. And as you can see, hopefully up here in the corner, you can see that my battery icon has a lightning bolt through it, and I have two devices charging simultaneously. So this was rated at being waterproof for being submerged up to 3 feet underwater for up to an hour. So this wouldn't be much fun unless I actually tested that. Now, you're obviously going to want to make sure you don't have anything plugged in here and charging while you're doing this test. Actually, I don't recommend doing this test at all if you don't have to, but I'm going to go ahead and close this, make sure both sides are securely snapped in place, make sure the power button hasn't been turned on recently, because it does take a few seconds to shut off. Now what I'm going to do is put it right there in the sink. I'm just going to start running some water over it. Alright, so as you can see, it's completely submerged, and I'm just going to go ahead and let it sit there for a while. Alright, so while I'm letting this soak for a few minutes, the cool thing is too is if this waterproof test works, then obviously the dirt proof is going to be effective as well, because that's what seals out the water, is that snap rubberized case. And one of the nice things about this battery pack that I liked as well is that it operates from 14 degrees Fahrenheit to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And a lot of the other battery packs I've tested, they say to just pretty much operate at room temperature. You don't want it to get too cold, you don't want it to get too hot. So that's the nice thing about this, is I can take it out on a hiking trip if I'm going to be out in the winter weather, or say I'm going hunting or ice fishing or something like that, and it's within those ranges, I don't have to worry about it malfunctioning. Alright, I think it's been in there long enough. I'm going to go ahead and take it out, dry it off, and then we'll go back and retest it and see if it's still working properly. Alright, so I'm back from the water test. I'm going to go ahead and open this. I've dried it off. Kind of hard to see here, but there is some little droplets of water along the outside here. You're going to want to make sure and dry that off. I'm going to dry it off real quick. Just make sure it's nice and dry around here, because water could get through up along this rubber. So just make sure it's dry before you try to retest it. Now what I'm going to do is do the same thing we did earlier. I'm going to plug in the USB power meter. And then going to grab my cord here for my iPhone, plug that in, plug the other end into the iPhone, and then to activate it, I'm going to push my power button, and as you can see here, it is charging. I'm going to go ahead and read the output. Alright, so there's my amps. Zoom in a little bit. You can see my amps are 0.97, 0.99, close to 1 amp, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to check out the voltage. 4.86. That's very good as well. Right, I've also got this tablet plugged in. Both ports are working just fine, and I'm satisfied with the results. So it actually is waterproof, and that's the nice thing about it. This review was done by Josh. I did receive a product sample for test and evaluation, and I promise to report a fair and honest review.